Welcome back, friends. It's Tactical. Back with another Tomahawk. For today's Tomahawk, we got the Smith & Wesson Extraction and Evasion Tomahawk. This thing's a freaking tank. That's the first thing I thought of when I pulled it out the box. I'm like, wow, this is beefy. 2 pounds, 11 ounce. So it's definitely got some heft to it. Little nylon sheath. Sheath is kind of cheesy. Look, a rivet just like fell out. One of the little friggin' holding the sheath together. It actually was scratching the blade. It was like half in there. One side fell out, the other side was still in there. I was like, what the hell? Here's your little belt loop. So the sheath for it kind of sucks right off the rip. And I haven't even used this thing yet. So 3-button snap. It comes out the bottom, which I like. I hate the ones that come out the top. That's a pain in the butt. So there's your little sheath. Nothing special. But this thing, for the money, seems like it's gonna kick some ass. This thing is freaking beefy. Retails for 107 bucks. Got it for 65. You know, full tang. That's what I'd be talking about. That's what I like. It's like a requirement, man, for me now. Learning what I've learned with the other Tomahawks, it's got to be full tang, or I'm not even gonna freaking buy it anyway. So, anybody that's gonna make a new one, if it ain't full tang, forget about it. You know. It's got some rubberized handle. I'm not sure what kind, if that's Kydex or not Kydex, Kryton. It kind of feels like it. It's a little rubbery. No lanyard hole, you know, no big deal. For fighting, you can't really have a lanyard on there. Unless, well, it depends on your skill level and your technique, I guess. But really, you know, that's good for chopping wood, more or less. Nice thick steel. I'm trying to think of what, damn, I just measured it last night too. It was just over 0.345, I think. So, pretty freaking thick, man. I was definitely impressed just by that, the thickness of this thing. And that's a 1070 carbon steel. So it's a high carbon steel. Seemed pretty sharp for the most part. We'll actually test it and see. And the overall length is 16 inches. So it's a decent length to get some power. The top of the hawk is 8 inches across, and the blade length is 3 3/4 of an inch. Okay, we'll test initial sharpness first, as always. See what this thing's like. Yeah, it's doing something. This is super dead, but kind of, yeah. Almost medium sharp, maybe a little less. Yeah, let's test it out on this instead. Bam, we're recording. All right, let's try this bitch out. Got high hopes for this thing. Let's do it. Already, it feels like it's biting in good. Oh yeah, it's biting in pretty decent. I can feel the wide geometry though, but there's a lot of freaking power right there. Time to try out the spike a little bit, see what this will do. I think this will work pretty good. It's kind of pointed. And of course I got trees around me everywhere, so this will be tough swinging. I'll try some one-handed, then I'll do some two-handed. It's making a big hole, but going in pretty good. I'm gonna do some two-handed swings. It's not doing bad. Uh-oh, there goes my test tree. Okay, whoops. We gotta go get another test tree. Uh-oh. Yeah, the point it's doing pretty good. There's lots of power, and it is sharp, but it's almost like the geometry is slowing it down a hair. Maybe not. It might be tripping. It is doing some substantial damage now. Twisting it a little bit, testing durability. Yeah, this thing's fucking strong, man. Wow. This is some thick ass metal, so 1070. So I'm not scared to really do this. Pry on it a little bit, because this thing is a freaking tank. Yeah, you take that, mother. Oh yeah. See if we get any friggin' chips or anything doing this. Whoa! Wow, it's just splitting this thing in half, man. Yeah. Now this thing has tons of knots at the top, all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just at the top 6, and then like 3 or 4 more below it. So this will be a tough little piece. It's about a 3.5 inch, which ain't big, but when you put a lot of knots in one spot, it makes it a lot tougher. So we'll try splitting this thing. Wow, this thing hits hard, man. It really does. Whoa, holy shit. I'm surprised it did it that easy. Nice. Wow. This thing's really good at splitting. There's a lot of weight to it. Just that 2 pounds 11 ounce. That's over 2.5 pounds. That's pretty substantial. There's a big knot right here. See if we can hit it in the exact spot. That's always fun to try to do. Nice. But it broke right at a... See, wherever there's a knot, that's why it stopped, hit the knot. But still, this thing is doing some damage. So they had its pluses and minuses. Would I recommend this thing? Most definitely. For $65, definitely would. Rate it? You know, like I said, pluses and minuses. The geometry was a little... I don't know if it was a little broad, or... I know it's a thick piece of steel, which makes it great. Now the weight makes it a little less agile, you know. In the balance point, it's about near the end of the hand grip, right about there. So, you know, it ain't perfectly balanced. It's close. But so it ain't, you know, it's going to be a little tiresome if you swing it a lot, because it is kind of beefy. But the payoff for being strong, you seen me pry it, and this thing is dead straight. Take a quick look at the finish. Yeah, it's got tons of scuffs. You see all down there where I was prying on it. Took off a little bit of the finish there. But the edge is good. Nothing happened to that, so that's perfect. And it's still dead straight. So, man, if you want something that's not going to break for kind of cheap, this thing rocks. Out of all the Tomahawks I've used, this is probably the one I trust the most, out of the ones I've tested. So, everybody knows I got that RMJ, yeah. That thing is even more intense. That's even thicker than this, but it's lighter than this, and it's longer, which is kind of funny. I think it's because it's a chromoly steel. Chromoly is a lighter kind of steel than like a carbon steel. But I would definitely recommend it. Man, I'd probably give it like an 8. It's a solid Tomahawk, and it'll definitely serve you well. Thanks as always for stopping by, and until the next time we meet.